Topping the news at this time, sailings of the inter-island ferry for this afternoon have been cancelled due to Tropical Storm Don. This was confirmed in a release by the Trinidad and Tobago Inter-Island Transportation Limited. The release stated due to weather conditions related to Tropical Storm Don, the 4 p.m. sailing of the TNT Express from Port of Spain is cancelled. Also cancelled is the 6:30 a.m. sailing from Tobago, originally scheduled for Wednesday, July 19th. The release added that updates will be provided during the day as weather conditions are being monitored. Now, based on this development, only the cargo boat, the Atlantic Provider, will be sailing to Tobago this afternoon. Well, Opposition leader PSA wants to know who are the owners of the Ocean Flower 2, one of the chartered vessels which will be used to alleviate the sea bridge issues between both islands since the departure of the superfast Galicia. Mrs. PSA speaking at the Tulsa Trace Hindu School at UNC Monday Night Forum.
Who is the real owner of this vessel? Who is the owner of this vessel? Well, I am still researching because we can find no trace of Bridgman, Trinidad LP. Up to this evening, Raiden from my office ran a search, and up to this evening, we cannot find any company documents here. The company, I don't know when it was formed, I don't know where it exists, and I don't know who the owners are.
Under the People's Partnership government, the superfast Galicia was leased for $112,000 per day. Mrs. PSA, however, criticized the government for its decision to bring 2 old vessels, which would cost taxpayers approximately $333,000 daily to service the islands.
$333,000 per day. $333,000 per day, but I'll back up before we get to the totals at the end. For the lease for the 1 year is going to cost us TT $52.8 million. I want you to remember that, because I'm going back up now to start from the start.
And the cargo vessel, the Cabo Star, should be arriving in Trinidad at midnight tonight. This according to a source at the Ministry of Works and Transport. Reports say the vessel was sighted sailing north of Venezuela early this morning. The cargo vessel, which will be used to service the sea bridge between Trinidad and Tobago, was expected to arrive in this country on Sunday. The passenger ferry, the Ocean Flower 2, is expected to arrive in Trinidad on July 26th. And Caribbean Airlines advises that once again today, several domestic flights between Trinidad and Tobago will be operated by 737 jet services. In a release, the airline also confirmed changes to the domestic schedule. Some flights have been consolidated and will operate as follows. Flights 1526, 1530, 1536 will leave at 1:15 p.m. on flight number BW3518, while flights 1527, 1531, 1537 will leave at 2:20 p.m. on flight number BW3519. Caribbean Airlines says that confirmed tickets for travel today, Tuesday, July 18th, will be accommodated on its services. A political analyst, Rishi Maraj, says the meeting between Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and opposition leader PSA is one that is needed to enforce strong leadership in this country. Mr. Maraj says both parties need to find some agreement to create policies that are in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago.
At the end of the day, I think everybody would realize that the country is in some dire circumstances. Crime has been ravaging for a while now. The economy is going through some serious problems. So I think we need, people are calling out for leadership. I think a leadership on both parts of the Prime Minister and the opposition to come together and work together, because they are the 2 leaders who we have elected to serve our needs, both in government and in the opposition.
And this is CNews Live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at CNews Live. Well, Tropical Storm Don is making its way near the Windward Islands. Ian Wallace is here with the latest on Don. Hi, Ian.
Hello, Stacey Ann. And well, the latest is that Don is still a tropical storm. Hurricane Hunter's aircraft have been going into the system and have been finding that it is slightly weaker, but it still has an impact, obviously. The tropical storm warnings in effect, of course, in Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well. And there's a tropical storm watch in effect for Barbados and Bonaire. Now, there's no tropical storm warnings or watches out for Trinidad and Tobago, but Tobago could still see some of the effects of the system as it passes by. Right now, Tropical Storm Don is just about 410 kilometers east of Grenada and 250 kilometers southeast of Barbados. That was as of 11 a.m. And basically, it is still moving towards the west, and it may well still remain on its present course as it goes through the next few hours. So definitely it is set to be passing north of Tobago as you go through later on this afternoon, late this afternoon, going into this evening and overnight, and then heading towards Grenada as they get close to tomorrow morning. So obviously Grenada is under the tropical storm warning. They're expecting tropical storm conditions within the next 24 hours. Meanwhile, Barbados, which is towards the north, is expecting tropical storm conditions within, let's say, 36 hours. But overall, in terms of the rain, that will likely be the most impact that you will likely see. Looking at strong wind gusts with torrential downpours and also some rough surf, which is why some of the sailings have been cancelled, especially around the Tobago Sound, that is between Tobago and Trinidad and out towards the Caribbean Sea. You also will notice some strong rip currents, so obviously you're advised if you're bathing to stay out of the water. And obviously for boaters, you should obviously be taking your boats up because of the impending strong swells that could come by as the system goes through. Now, in terms of its worst impact, obviously we'll still begin to see the effects coming across Tobago, definitely through this afternoon. Some of the clouds pulling in, a lot more showers expected. Some of those heavier bursts are also likely, particularly as you go through the afternoon, with rainfall amounts from the Met Service of about 40 to 60 millimeters. And obviously with the gusty winds, there's also the possibility of street or flash flooding in those areas of heavy showers and thunder showers. Also along the northern range and parts of Tobago, there's also the possibility of landslips in particular, so be mindful about that if you're heading about. And for obviously all you marine interests out there, you also have to take the necessary precautions as you go through the next few hours. In terms of those of you who are looking at the seas, looking at 2 meters, but you could be seeing waves getting above that, 2.5, choppy conditions, maybe pushing to 3 meters further out towards the Atlantic and going through the Caribbean Sea at times. So be mindful about that as you go through your business. And obviously, as you go through today, still scattering of showers with the risk of the thunder showers becoming more frequent and heavier as you go later on through Tuesday, into Tuesday evening and overnight into Wednesday morning. So that's the latest on Tropical Storm Don. Now it's back to you, Stacey.
And thank you so much, Ian. I'm sure everyone was looking for that update. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar says she will be attending the meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley with an open mind. The meeting is aimed at both leaders discussing important matters pertaining to the country. Now, the opposition leader said some of the issues of importance included internal self-governance for Tobago, crime, the economy, and a code of conduct for parliamentarians.
I look forward to the meeting. And if there is any way that my advice can assist, and this advice will be given by me as opposition leader with views coming from my team, my MPs, my senators, from the councillors and from the party, my advice, I'll be guided by their views.
The Siparia MP was speaking at the UNC Monday night forum in Maruga Tableland. The opposition leader said there have been many views regarding her planned meeting with the Prime Minister, some of which were negative.
There were those who told me don't go to no meeting. There were those who told me go and walk out the meeting. There were those who told me don't tell him anything. There were those who said otherwise. So all kinds of advice. But you see, as your leader of the UNC and the leader of the opposition, as myself, as a citizen, as a mother, a grandmother, and as someone who has given, as I said, the vast number of my majority years in service to the people, I will go in there with an open heart and an open mind.
Mrs. Persad-Bissessar said crime, healthcare and the economy are top of her agenda for discussion with the Prime Minister.
So those of you with a lot of whatever in your hormones who want to go in there and want me to to give some knockout punches and so on. Maybe Vidya is right. Maybe I have to carry an approach that we all know, that we all do with nurturing and sharing and caring. And that is how I will go tomorrow. So no more on that. I've asked for items on the agenda. I will see how far that goes. In my mind, it still remains there are three major sectors that need urgent, emergency SOS attention. It is escalating crime. Yes. It is a deteriorating economic sector with the jobs and so on. And of course, the well-being of the health of the nation.
The meeting between Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and Mrs. Prasad Bissessa is scheduled to take place at 2 p.m. An autopsy performed on late soca artist and radio presenter Davon Matthews shows that a heart attack may have been the cause of his untimely passing. Now, according to a report from I-95, an affiliate of Red 96.7, where Matthews worked as a presenter, Matthews also suffered several mini heart attacks or silent heart attacks before Sunday. Matthews was pronounced dead at the Sinclair Medical Center on Sunday morning after collapsing at Tribe's Festivals of the Bands. When contacted, members of his family said that funeral arrangements are still being made and would be announced soon. The president of the Public Service Association, Watson Duke, staged a sit-in with workers of the Agricultural Development Bank of Trinidad and Tobago last evening in an attempt to discuss salary negotiations. Mr. Duke, via a social media video, said the workers met with the CEO of the ADB last night in hopes of coming to a solution.
ADB workers are existing on 2010 salaries, yet they are paying 2017 bills. They should, as all other entities, receive benefits that are similar to that of a civil service, as they have been receiving for the last 20, 30 years since they have been in existence.
The body of a man was found in Carlson Field in central Trinidad this morning. According to reports, at around 5 a.m., police were alerted to the body at the side of a roadway in the area. The man was clad in a green shirt and grey jeans, and he's said to be of East Indian descent. The police are seeking assistance in identifying the body. Attorney Farid Ali has confirmed that identification parades for 2 remaining suspects in the Malabar double murder failed to bring forth any new charges. The 2 suspects were placed before ID parades in Chaguanas on Monday afternoon, and a 32-year-old suspect was not identified. The other suspect was transferred to another station as police struggled to find a person fitting the description of the suspect. Another suspect is in custody is still to be interviewed. Now, yesterday, Wayne Liverpool and Solomon Baksh appeared at the Arima Magistrates Court charged with the murder of 13-year-old Videsh Subar and Hafiza Mohammed. Baksh is Mohammed's brother. They are set to reappear on August 14th. The sport now at Trailblazers got a baptism of fire on Sunday evening as Powerhouse Defence Force showed them how tough life is in Division 1 in the North Zone. After beating Caledonia Clippers in the season's opener, Trailblazers must have got a false sense of security, but after last night's loss to Defence Force, reality struck to Laventil team. Ian Wason saw the demolition job by the Defence Force.
You're in the big leagues now, and we are not the Clippers. That's the message Defence Force gave Trailblazers on Sunday evening. When Stephen Lytle Lewis hit this 3 in the 3rd quarter, the score was 55-22. Now Keon Joseph to Davon Waddle for this reverse layup off the glass. The score 57-22. Kerry McMillan, benefiting from the hustle, laid the pass to Jonathan Donowa for 2. Donowa scored 11 points. This alley-oop off the inbound pass. Keon Joseph made it 65-22, and the Trailblazers had no answer. Booker provided a spark for them, 2 of his 5 coming here, but they were still down by 31 points. But things just got worse for Trailblazers. Jelani Mapp hit this 3. As a team, Defence Force hit 18 threes. 6 of those 18 threes came in the 4th quarter alone, as Arthur made it 98-40. As Defence Force made it a 2-0 start to their season, with a 103-42 win. and they will face a strong streak on its team next Sunday.
Because remember, since defense was the whole game Shakhtar changed. Players, not a new players coming to the team. So the coach is not quite familiar with them. So tonight he got a good feel, to know like this is this one's strength, this is that one's strength. So be able to utilize them much better.
Ian Wilson, C Sports.
And it's one step forward, two steps back in TNT's football as there is more trouble brewing in the National Women's Program. While the TTFA remains tight-lipped on development, all the indicators are that the women's program is at a standstill over a series of allegations coming from the Italian connection hired to drive the program towards World Cup qualification in 2019. Head coach Carolina Marache, a former Italian national standout, has been running a very tight ship which has robbed several of the senior players the wrong way, which has seen several of them left off recent squads. But now the coaches, Marache, assistants Nicola Williams, Elisabetta Bagnoli and Manuela Tesse, who left 2 months ago, have downed tools for what is deemed just cause, including unpaid wages for several months. Now, when Tesse left, she cited a lack of proper preparations of the under-17 program on the part of the TTFA. Now the others are also crying foul. Efforts to dialogue are continuing with the hope that an amicable solution to the problem can be worked out without too much disruption to the various programs, including the women's senior, under-20 and under-17 programs. Now, in the Trinidad and Tobago Super League, leaders Guaya United stayed perfect after traveling to Tobago to blank host club Bethel United 3-0. Queen's Park also notched a big win, edging the Defence Force 3-1 with 3 second-half items. But among the biggest winners on the day were the boys from Siparia Spurs, who edged high-flying Cunupia 1-0, and the students from UTT dropped the blank on Police, who had no answers to the questions asked of them.
The UTT students started early and cashed in from the penalty spot. It was Isaiah Mejia who stroked home the spot kick for 1-0 in the 13th minute. Then it was Dylan Bartholomew's turn to benefit as the ball bounces off his person and flies in for 2-0 now in the 21st for the students. The post then denied them here with the keeper badly beaten. But they didn't have to wait much longer for their next item as Jadim Paris races through on a quick counter and he finishes in style for 3-0 in the 32nd. But he was only just getting started as he notched a personal hat-trick while Bartholomew added a brace. UTT would walk off big 6-0 winners to climb to third on 12 points. In another encounter between Siparia Spurs and Cunupia, the men in yellow from Cunupia started the fast of the two and really should have been up here, but for this brilliant foot save by the Spurs keeper to keep it goalless. Spurs also had a chance to break the deadlock just before the break, but the header bounces wide with the keeper hopelessly out of position. It was more of the same in the second half, with Cunupia pressing for the opener and came close here again, only this time the clean-up shot clanks off the bar and stays out. But the story in this one was the brilliance of the keeper for Siparia Spurs, who just wouldn't be beaten even if the defense in front of him was breached time and again. That would come back to haunt the Cunupia outfit, who are normally clinical in front of goal, but their scoring touch deserted them on this day. Then, as if the football gods had a hand in things, Spurs would score a screamer from distance when Marlon Phillips' speculative drive flies in for 1-0 in the 81st. Fittingly, Cunupia would carve out another chance, only to be denied by, you guessed it, the keeper, as it remained 1-0 to the end, handing Spurs a big win to climb to 4 points and 9th place overall, while Cunupia remained on 9 points and 6th overall.
And that's it for sport. That's it for the C News report at noon. I'm Stacey Ann Providence. Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, visit the C News website at ctvtt.com. Have a good afternoon.